So here's the masterpiece of the Swindon racing engine. All the red top engines all ready to be collected. Come on, girl. Do us proud, let's have a sing. So welcome back to another video. Today we are at the home of JP Delta. It's end of season for the touring cars, as you will have seen from our last race. We are now going to strip down the Cavalier, ready for the full rebuild of the engine, suspension, all the bits and pieces for a fresh season in 2023. Now, what you don't realise is the car has never had a suspension refurb in probably 10 years. It's never had a rolls joint refurb in 10 years. So this is a major strip down because we're going to hit it hard in 2023, do as many races as we can, try and make a bit more power to the engine, plenty more to come. So let's get in the workshop and let's start stripping the car and let's start getting it prepped for 2023. So as we've stripped the Cavalier, we can now get a closer look at the parts. This is one of the back trailing arms off the Cavalier that we've removed. And as you can see, it's a beautiful piece of engineering. And if you can hear it in the background, the wizard has just farted and it absolutely reeks. Anyway, I'm trying to hold my breath and talk at the same time. They're the rear dampeners, rear discs. And this is basically the stub axle. Bolts into here with a bearing, bolts through, secures with this back nut, and that's where your center lock goes. These are the front uprights. As you can see again, all fabricated on some coilovers, and everything's been adjusted and adapted to basically make the touring car setup and fit the AP brakes. So the goal is this: we bumped into the gentleman who built these original suspension, and he said he will assist us in refurbishing them because one of these dampeners is absolutely shot, and we've only just found out. And as we move the car up now, we're just doing the final little bits. I will get into what the subframes look like and some other bits and pieces. So this is the front subframe we've removed, and as you can see, bladed anti-roll bar, which is adjustable on that end there, if you look there, and it's completely different to a standard Cavalier turbo. Obviously, as we've seen before, fully rolls jointed. This is completely different to anything on any other road vehicle. And this is the rear subframe section, which obviously we've seen the bottom arms with the bearings that we're going to repair. But this is the rear subframe section. Now, I'm unsure whether this would have been redesigned for when it was rear wheel drive. I don't know if they used the original and then adapted it. No, who knows? It's oh, it's not. They did a complete different.
Yeah, no, not complete, but it didn't have that section in it. It was just a small arm to there.
Yeah.
And the same that side.
Oh right, okay, interesting. So there you go. That's how the rear subframe be. What are these for, Jim? Why are these been knocked out?
I've got no idea.
Oh, right.
Chassis, to clear the chassis.
Oh, that's got right.
Yeah, but do you see that there? Why they've cut it, lifted it up.
Oh yeah.
To get more camber, and then welded this nice piece back in here.
So in theory, then they would have. But how come they've done it on?
I don't know why. How they've done it.
That's only on one side.
It is on one side.
It's interesting, isn't it? So do you think they've made these bottom arms and gone, oh, it won't fit? It's in Vanama.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Wow.
It's a bit animal, but...
So, do you think these arms would have been for the rear-wheel drive setup?
I reckon these were, yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Oh,
Looking at that's where the shaft would have gone in.
I've got a pair, you know the car we talk about, the red car, the one that East is an RML car. The rear arms are exactly, might not have this bit in it, but they are exactly this. They are exactly. So that car, it's nothing to do with Malux at all. You know what Malux looks like, you know.
Oh, interesting.
They made, so those arms from that car are the same.
So here's the masterpiece of the Swindon racing engine. Obviously, plenty to see, plenty to go through, but obviously still works, maybe aged, and you probably get better equipment now, but this is really nicely built for this age. As you can see, all the original Swindon reference numbers on there, the Swindon Racing Dry Sump Kit, and what is a really nice, if you look at the throttle bodies, they work from side to side. How nice is that on this lovely pull action? which works beautifully. That's what the Swindon racing throttle bodies were like. So another thing we've picked up on, which I'm going to confirm. Now, we think this is another adjustable cam sensor for an XC. And these had original Swindon ones. But if you look, they are so much bigger. Now, I don't know whether Swindon would have put smaller ones on for a reason. I'm going to investigate that and find out. But that's something interesting that we found out whilst working on this car. Stock power steering pump, a few little bits blanked off, additional drive on the water pump, and again, just really nicely built external trigger wheel, as you can just see there. So now it's time to get this stripped. In a couple of weeks we're going to build the new engine, and this one is going to be our second engine for kind of spares for next season. So some people will and won't know, Mr. Pocklington, Jim, used to run a Arrow Formula 1 team for the Woodcock brothers. The team got closed down, stopped, because one of the younger sons had a heart attack, so they've literally stopped the program straight away. A lot of the Arrow parts for the cars were basically, Jim was told to scrap them, throw them in the bin, we don't want them no more. And this is probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. So what happens is when we come to Jim's to do some work, he'll go into one of his sheds and he'll fill us in on what these parts are, and he'll always try and give us some parts, because technically, what's he going to do with them? So we've got a part of the Formula 1 front body section in carbon. That'll look nice on my wall. But these are the fun parts. So let's start with these two. These are gears out of a Formula 1 gearbox, so they'll look nice on my wall. But this thing is a piece of depleted uranium they used to use on the front. So basically the driver's feet would be here to weight the front down. So where the hell would you kind of dispose of a piece of depleted uranium? So them things are going to go on my walls, a bit of history and a bit of, you know, just something just to talk about, a talking piece. So we always get little bits, but if I say the sheds are full of fiberglass bottom arms, wishbones, sensors, you name it, he has got all the parts for the Arrow. I think it's the A22 cars. Again, don't really know much about Formula 1, but these are going to go on my wall. So, bright and early, we're back in Ballymena in Northern Ireland, and we are here to basically finish off building the touring car engine for this season. As you will have seen, we stripped the car down, took the engine out, showed you a few bits. We're over there now to refresh and rebuild the second engine for the car. We're at MED Race Engines. He kind of finished off the cylinder head, so we brought the bottom end over to get it built up. Then we're going to dial the cams in, put the head on, get it all together, so it's ready for a new engine for this season.
Can we drop a washer in, or use your new ones?
I think we'll put the other ones on her, you know, and
Yeah.
and move it out.
Out.
See, even our belt was running flush with this here, you understand me?
Yeah.
You still have the breadth of the lip, you know, you're not even touching that either.
I've put a new bearing in that one, but I haven't put a new bearing in
There
that
was
one.
one of them, had a wee bit of that one there. That one there is tighter now.
Yeah, that's brand new bearing in that one.
But you can see, you know what I mean, even, you know what I mean, that we're not even...
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's put.
Try it.
Yeah.
I always thought that you used to put the dial gauge on the cams, but you don't, you put them on the bucket.
Yeah. So as engines go, this one is pretty mega. Looks absolutely amazing. We're finally on with finishing off the build now. Everything's been measured, clearance, cleaned, machined. I think we're literally just nipping to get some new cam cover bolts because we haven't got any. I think we're ready to go. Everything's looking good. We're super happy with it. Oh, sorry, I think we have to bolt the slider throttle bodies on. But again, we're at MED Race Engines. All the red top engines all ready to be collected, and still loads more to come. And also, this is Ricky's little auto grass car. Corsa, I think it's a 1600, I will check. Here's the heartbreaker. We'll have the touring car engine back, nice and fresh. We've had some expert advice on it. Fingers crossed we'll see a lot more power this year, and we'll be able to keep up with the newer touring cars, because it's been a struggle. Ready to load into the car, ready to come back to England to be installed into the Cavalier. And if that isn't the most best looking C20XE I've ever seen, let's load it into the car, and then we can start building up the Cavalier for this season. So we are back now in the UK, we're back at Jim's, and here's the engine, all built up, now ready to go into the car. Car's obviously up on the air jacks, engine's ready to go in, gearbox is stripped, and obviously anyone who's not really seen the gearbox, as you can see, this is where the cluster comes out. Obviously it's on like a VW styles CV joints. Obviously it's an X-Track box, so that's what that is. We're going to now put the engine in because we are literally, I think, 3 weeks from the first race at Silverstone. Clock is ticking. There's not a lot of time left. Plan to be on the dyno next week. Fingers crossed today will go all to plan. Where are we up to now? Engine's in, piped up. We're nearly ready to fire. We've oiled it. But what we've done is, because obviously with it being a dry sump kit, the sump is in the boot. So you have to fill the sump, sorry, the dry sump tank, let it gravity feed to the front, let it drip out, tighten it up, and then you've got to prime the engine. As we built it, we already kind of oiled everything. So now we're going to literally put the battery on, crank it a lot till we see oil pressure on the dash, and then put the plugs in, and fingers crossed, fires up and we have no issues. Anyway. Come on, girl. Do us proud. Let's have a sing. Fire in the hole. Yeah. Go again. This is coming to an end, but something to point out to you all is this thing doesn't technically work. It's just there for show, but it's for the purists, because that's how the original engine came in this chassis number 1 Cavalier. So we're going back to originality. So if anyone eagle-eyed goes, why is there all these HT leads? That's the reason why. It's to make it look like it was back when it was first built, putting it back to originality. So that's us done now, signing off. We're finished, the car's running, all the work's been done for over winter. We're on the dyno very shortly, you'll see it on the next video. Fingers crossed, we're gonna have a good year. The engine sounds healthy, very, very happy. Couldn't ask for anything better. So let's see how the year brings with the classic British touring car Cavalier chassis number 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.